If a woman is pregnant with a male unborn child, does the woman have a penis?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
If the woman is pregnant with a male unborn child, does the woman have male DNA, and eventually does the woman have a penis?
This clip starts the way every great debate moment starts, with a question that sounds simple and somehow isn't. Lila asks her straight up, is taking the life of a child in the womb pro-life? That's it. That's the whole question. Instead of answering it, Stephanie spends the first 30 seconds joking about her age and taking a shot at the debate format itself. I get it, that's the classic move when you don't love where a question is headed, you deflect with humor and hope nobody notices. But Lila doesn't let it go. She circles back, and by the 2-minute mark, Stephanie says the quiet part out loud, I don't believe it's a child. So Lila asks the only logical follow-up, well, then what is it? And the answer she gets is cells. Not a person, not a baby, just cells. Stick around, because what happens next with that one word is the whole debate.
So Stephanie, I have a question for you first to start.
Yes.
You had a lot of comments about the Republican Party, President Trump, et cetera. And I'm just going to say, listen, let's say we agreed theoretically on everything politically, right? Do you think taking the life of a child in the womb is pro-life?
I think it should be a woman's choice. By the way, can I just say, I Googled Lila. I am 25 years older than Lila, so she is a stem cell compared to me. And wow, this is the toughest crowd I've ever played. I think you were like, can you get some old crone to be for the pro-choice? Can you get the old lady from the Titanic? But here's, you're like, can I debate a 65-year-old lesbian about, about pro-choice? No, I don't think it. I think women should be able to control their own choices in their own life.
Democrats. Let's just put it this way. I know pro-life Democrats. I know pro-life liberals. I know pro-life atheists. So, you know, what I said in my opening remarks, laying out this case for life, it's not tied to a political party. So let's set that all aside. We can have that debate with someone else that wants to debate that. But
Democrats largely are for choice. And
it's very unfortunate.
Republicans are largely for anti-choice.
They didn't used to be. Democrats used to be pro-life. Remember Jesse Jackson? He used to say abortion is killing a baby. They used to all be pro-life. That flipped in the last 40 or so years. So it's a big tragedy in my view, because Democrats used to be for the little guy. Now they're saying, let's kill the little guy and give all your money to Planned Parenthood, who kills hundreds of thousands of little guys every year. So my question for you is, if you knew with certainty, Stephanie, that there was a living human child in the womb, would you still support the right to kill that child through abortion?
I don't believe, I believe it is, I don't believe it's a child. I think that there, again, we can debate the late term and this and, you know, length of time and all of that. I just don't think it should be a choice between anybody but a woman and her doctor.
What you say?
Again, if you don't believe in abortion, don't have one. If you don't believe in gay marriage, don't marry someone of your own sex.
So you say,
but you don't believe other Americans should have that choice?
So you say you don't believe it's a child in the womb. What is it if it's not a child?
I think depending on what point it's at, it's cells.
What kind of cells? What kind of cells?
Is this a gotcha question?
No, it's a very sincere question. You're saying abortion's okay.
I would feel like this would be a more authentic debate if Republicans wanted to do anything to help children or to help that we have the worst maternal rate. We have the worst child care system. We have the worst. Trump has just cut funding for children. It's you love the fetus, but you hate the child. You don't want to do anything to support women that have children.
I don't think you know much about my other public policy positions, it sounds like. So
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your party as a whole.
I'm not Trump. I'm Lila Rose. You're here to debate me, right?
No, so you are way more attractive than Trump.
So let's focus on that. But let's go back to what is.
You don't have a neck vagina. Let's start with that.
Because you're saying it's not a child. You're saying it's not a child, so it's okay to kill it. And I'm asking you, what is it? And you're saying cells. Well, guess what? You and I are made of cells, right?
Right.
What is the life in the womb? Is it a life, would you say?
Lila, you know as well as I do, for a long time, it is not viable outside of a woman. So it is not, you can't say, I'm just saying, I get that this is what you guys always say. Like it's a fully formed, viable person that could live outside the womb, and that is not the case.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm asking you, what is it in the womb?
Do you think it's
Let's move
proper
on. I don't
rhetoric
think we're
that
gonna
Donald
get
Trump
an answer to
says
that.
that Democrats like to kill the baby after it's born? Does that happen anywhere? Does infanticide happen anywhere? Except maybe in the Epstein files, and I think Trump was behind that.
Let's ask
them.
a different question then. Is a human less valuable because they are less developed or because they are dependent or small? Does that make them less valuable?
I don't believe that it's a human being.
If they're not a human being, what are
if it
they?
is not viable outside the woman's womb, the woman should have the choice over her own body. She's not like a host organism.
If a woman is pregnant with a male unborn child, does the woman have a penis?
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
If the woman is pregnant with a male unborn child, does the woman have male DNA and eventually does the woman have a penis?
Okay. Now
You said it's her body. You just said it's her body.
If she's
She can do
pregnant
what
with a
she
male
wants.
fetus.
Yes.
Does who have a penis? I'm
The
sorry.
baby,
I'm sorry, I'm a lesbian. When someone says penis, I just stop listening.
Is the baby in the womb the woman's body? I don't think so. Right?
Wait, what are you asking? If
Is the baby in the
child is
womb-
male as opposed to female, what?
You're saying that the baby in the woman's body is her body. So if a woman is pregnant with a male baby, is the woman now part male because she has a male body parts and male DNA in her? Is that her body? No, right? You can just say no.
I'm completely, UCLA must teach better science than USC because I don't really know what the you're talking about. I have to be honest.
Well,
I don't really know what you're...
If you don't acknowledge that human life begins before birth, then I can see the
I don't
confusion
think
here.
human life
When-
begins at I mean...
When does human life
begin?
begin?
Does it begin
Here's a
when the
question.
male has an orgasm? Is that what you guys think?
When does human life begin in your view?
Okay. Listen, we can have philosophical debates
No,
all day long.
it's not.
It
I'm
comes
actually asking
down
from a
to,
scientific
does a woman
perspective.
have choice over her own body or not?
But I agree.
Are you
Stephanie,
saying,
we agree. I think
is this Handmaid's Tale? Are we saying the moment, the second of conception, the woman's body becomes the property of the state and the government gets to decide?
No.
From that moment on?
No. Here's another question.
What are you saying?
When you have a newborn.
So you're saying a woman is not entitled to an abortion?
You'll ask me because you'll have cross-sex here in just a moment.
Okay.
When a woman has a newborn baby, a newborn that's totally dependent on her, should she have the right to take the life of that newborn baby?
Of course not.
Why?
That's infanticide.
Why? Why shouldn't she?
Because it is viable outside her body.
Why is viability define your value and your human rights?
Because it is viable outside the woman's body.
Why?
Before
Why does
that,
that
it is
define your
part of
human
the
rights?
woman's body, and it should therefore be her choice.
Why does viability define your human rights? Your ability to breathe and live outside of the womb.
So
why does that define
what
human
is
rights?
do you think the second of conception that the government should take over? Is that what you're saying?
From the moment of fertilization, a new human life comes into existence. They are a human being. They deserve human rights. Yes.
So you don't believe in a morning after pill? Do you believe in contraception? Do you believe
Anything that intentionally takes the life of an innocent being. But let's get that in your cross-sex. Those are great questions. You definitely ask me those in your cross-sex. My question is this: when a child is totally dependent, newborn baby, needs other people, is dependent on the bodies of other people, does that child still have a right to life in your view? Does it have a right to live?
Of course, I already said that. Of course, a baby.
So what's the difference between that newborn baby and then minutes earlier, when that baby's in the womb, do you support ending the life of that baby, the right to end the life of that baby? Minutes earlier. Because they're in a different location, also dependent, but in the womb.
Okay, this next part is where things go completely off the rails, and honestly, it might be the most quietly devastating question I've seen asked in one of these debates. Stephanie has been arguing the baby is just part of the woman's body, her choice, her body. So Lila flips it on her with one question: if a woman is pregnant with a son, does she have male DNA? Does that make her partly male? Listen to how long it takes Stephanie to even understand what's being asked. She stalls, she says, "I'm a lesbian." When someone says penis, I stop listening. And she genuinely never answers it. That's not a comeback, that's a dodge dressed up as a joke. And then a few minutes later, Lila does something even smarter. She gets Stephanie to agree a newborn baby has a right to live. No hesitation, of course it does. Then she asks the question that actually matters. What changes about that exact same baby just minutes earlier? Still fully dependent, just in a different location. And the only answer Stephanie can give is viability, which sounds like a real argument until you realize she can't explain why being able to survive outside the womb is what grants someone the right to exist in the first place.
First of all, this is such a right-wing trope
No,
that
it's
there's
not.
all these late-term abortions. Unless there is a severe problem with the health of the mother and or the baby,
So
that's the only time doctors do late-term abortions.
So I'm
It is
asking
not,
you what
women,
you think should be legal.
women don't at 8 months go, oh, I changed my mind. That's not happening, Lila, and you know it.
We're debating abortion's legality. Do you support a cutoff for abortion at any point?
Yes, we already have that.
What's the cutoff
We
you
already
support?
have that.
What's your position? What's the cutoff you
as
support?
a lesbian, I'm not really an expert in exactly the gestation period, but we have those
Well, you're
laws.
here to defend
we have
abortion.
those laws in many states.
So where do you stand?
Donald Trump ran on complete lies that all
I'm not
Democrats are
Donald
for
Trump. Let me
killing the
remind
baby
you.
even after it's been born. That's just dishonest and it's Lila.
Stephanie, what's
and
your
you should acknowledge that Donald Trump lies about everything,
Should there be
including abortion.
Stephanie, should there be any illegal abortions in your view? Should all abortions be legal at any point of pregnancy, or should it be illegal at any point?
There is no reason for a late-term abortion except for the health of the mother or the baby.
Okay, that's great. So do you think it
Doctors
should be
and
illegal?
mothers aren't doing that. They
do you
aren't
think it should be
changing their
illegal?
mind late-term. It is because there are do you feel like a teenager in sepsis that should be forced to give birth? I mean,
Okay.
this is what's happening in America.
Let's ask this question. Do you think it is ever acceptable to intentionally kill an innocent human life?
Of course not.
Okay.
Well,
What if they're in the
you got a
womb?
lot. You got a
What if
lot of
they're in
shit
the
to
womb?
defend from the Trump administration. Then, if you don't think it's
I'm not here
okay
to
to
defend
kill
the
an
Trump administration.
innocent human life,
What about
do you
if in
think
their
Renee
womb?
Good was a domestic terrorist? Do you think she should have been
You can ask me
extinguished?
that in your
And her
process if you like.
6-year-old
Thank you,
and her
guys.
2
That's
other
all the time
children?
we have.
Do you think they should have been orphaned?
Are we moving to?
Thank you, guys. That's all the time we have.
Oh, thank God.
Now we're going to move into Stephanie's 10-minute period to cross-examine Lila on her view.
I've got no questions. Where's the wine?
You had questions. You can keep going.
I'm kidding.
You had questions.
No, I'm kidding. No, I mean, honestly, Lila, you
I'm
seem
not here
you
to
seem like a
defend-
decent human. I do not know how anyone that pardon me, is for life can defend anything that this Trump administration
So-
has done. How do you stand there and say I'm pro-life and I am a GOP, I am a Trump voter?
Okay, I don't, just to be clear, Stephanie, the resolution we both agreed on tonight is not whether or not you should vote for Trump, you should be GOP.
By the end of this thing, Stephanie is just trying to survive the clock. Layla asks her directly, is there any point in pregnancy where abortion should be illegal? And instead of giving an actual answer, she says we already have that, without naming a single law or a single week. When Lila pushes again for an actual cutoff, Stephanie pivots straight to Trump, healthcare funding, anything except the question she was asked. And then we get to the moment that I think says it all. Lila asks if it's ever acceptable to intentionally kill an innocent human life, and Stephanie says of course not, no hesitation. So Lila asks the obvious next question. What about in the womb? And that's exactly when the conversation gets redirected into something completely unrelated. That pivot is the whole debate in one moment. When the logic doesn't hold up anymore, you change the subject. Lila never raised her voice once through any of this. She didn't need to. What do you think? Did Stephanie actually answer the question, or did she spend 10 minutes avoiding it? Let me know down in the comments, and if you want more breakdowns like this, make sure you're subscribed, because there's a lot more where this came from.